You can find me at Pimps or Us, where being equal is a must. If there never was any trust, she was only ever just lust. Only in his imagination do they exist together. Just like in all of his fantasies, he gives himself the idea that nothing is real. I am never going to make up the rules in my head for things that never got said. You always wanted me to be. You always wanted me in your bed, but our friendship never led to my bed. For the things I never said. Because I'm an asshole, I try really hard, but then I just become the asshole that I always was. I'm sad to see every sign you gave me. I only blame myself for not realizing that you not wanting me was all in my head. You can find me at Pimps or Us, where being equal is a must. If there never was any trust, she was only just lust. Only in his imagination do they exist together, just like in all of his fantasies. He gives himself the idea that nothing is real. He doesn't know how she really feels. I'm never going to make up the rules in my head for things that were never said, that never got said. You always wanted me in your bed, but our friendship never led to any bedroom. For the things I never said, because every time we get close, I turn into an asshole. I'm sad to see every sign you gave me, never knowing what you meant. I only blame myself for not realizing that you not wanting me was all in my head. You can find me at Pimps or Us, where all the whores are all around, where all the hoes can be found. You can find me at Pimps or Us. Being equal is a must. If there never was any trust, she was only ever just lust. Only in his imagination do they ever exist together. Just like in all of his fantasies, he gives himself the idea that nothing is real. I'm never going to make up the rules in my head for things that never got said. You always wanted me in your bed, but our friendship never led to any bedroom. For the things I never said, I'm sad to see every sign you gave me leads nowhere. I only blame myself for not realizing it sooner. That you not wanting me was all in my head. You can find me at Pimps or Us, where being equal is a must. Where all the hoes are all around, are walking around, where all the whores can be found.